All right, thank you very much, Madam Clerk and Deputy Clerk. Welcome, members of the public and members of staff, council. We are here at our temporary council chambers, and this is Monday, March the 25th, 2024. Council has already met briefly at 4:30. We've just get out of that session, and now we're proceeding with our regular council meeting. And we do have several good items here on the old agenda. So let's deal with the agenda first. Members of council, we'll go to item number 2. Approval of the agenda. Recommendation be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the agenda dated March 25th, 2024. Mr. Broderick, Mr. MacArthur, thank you. Any questions on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? And that carries unanimous. Thank you. Is there a disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof for this meeting? Seeing none, if anything comes up during the meeting, of course, bring it forward right away. We'll deal with it right away for you. Item number 4, council, is our public participation period. I look across the public and I'm wondering if there's anybody who would like to speak. Looking to our deputy mayor, looking to our deputy clerk. Could be a deputy mayor one day, deputy mayor. Deputy clerk, has there been any electronic participations? There has been none. Thank you. And we will dispense with the public participation period at this time. Item 5, deputations, presentations, none, and public meetings, none. So we're at item number 7, approval of the council meeting minutes. Recommendation be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the minutes of the March 11, 2024 council meeting as presented. We'll go with Councillor Deneen and Councillor Walker. Thank you very much. Any questions on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? That carries unanimous. A business arising from the minutes, if any. Anybody got anything from the minutes? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to communications from the mayor. Council, as I said earlier, for the public's benefit, we did meet in camera. So item 9.1 is our closed session report. And I have a recommendation here for you. It's in regards to CUPE, our union negotiations. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby direct staff to act in accordance with the direction provided in closed session regarding the CUPE union negotiations. I'll take a mover and seconder. Mr. Walker, thank you. Mr. Beelan, thank you. Seeing none, no questions. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 9.2, council, is a letter from the Simcoe District Health Unit. It's a letter regarding income-based policy interventions to effectively reduce household food insecurity. The chairperson, Anne Marie Kungle, wrote a very good letter, and it's on here if there's any questions on that. Anybody has any thoughts on that? It's a very good letter. I encourage you all to have a good read on that. They're doing a good job for us over there at the health unit, and this is a very good point that was brought up by their board. We'll move on to our county reports, and we do have a couple of items here, and then we can hear from the deputy mayor and myself. The 2024 county bursary program. We want to congratulate Mr. Robotham, I believe his name is, who received a bursary in 2023. And the 2024 program is here in front of us. So I will ask for a mover and seconder on this recommendation. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve participating annually in the County of Simcoe bursary program by donating $1,000 each year, with the amount being funded from the community assistance and sponsorship grants. I'll look for the deputy mayor. Thank you. And Councillor Deneen, who's also a member of that committee. Any questions on this recommendation? No, seeing none, I'll then call the motion. All in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimous. Well done. And we also have a joint release from the county and town collaborating, preventing homelessness and support for residents. Also good information, and acknowledge that the county of Simcoe is working with New Tecumseh on a specific program that's isolated right in their own local municipality. And that the county does provide region-wide services for homelessness and homelessness prevention. And our municipality does receive benefit from that. Any questions on that, council? All right, seeing none. Mr. Deputy Mayor, do you have anything you want to add in regards to the county reports? Meeting tomorrow, right?
That's correct. And as I hate to say it, but our last meeting was relatively short and sweet. There was no, we're doing a lot of procedural stuff right now. The only thing, sort of a fun thing that has come out of our county meetings, and I got the request from you to look at a log sawing competitive team that
Yes.
And so I've got a bunch of people that are willing to participate, and so it looks like we're going to be sending some guys to support the Springwater Maple Syrup Festival, which is a
Excellent.
request through the county that way. And so we'll be talking that as a team very shortly.
Thank you.
Yes, we have two other things. We have a meeting tomorrow, so if there is anything specific that people have questions and comments on, we'll be glad to bring it. That's same letter regarding the SMDHU will be presented at county council tomorrow, so we will be getting feedback from a county point of view, because as most people know, they are our main provider for homelessness and for we'll say prevention of food stability and stuff within this community. So we'll be going forward with that. In my ward report, I'll bring other things forward.
All right, thank you very much. And good point. We have some lumberjacks and lumberjills on council. Is that right, Councilor Janine? Are you going to participate? I know there's a lumberjill program at the Springwater or the maple syrup.
I will be away.
Oh,
I'm very sorry, but I'm not going back.
oh, well then.
Thank you.
Oh, it's great to work with our neighbors, and what a great festival they have every year for the Maple Syrup Festival.
We do have some farm girls working
Yeah, we
on our-
do.
on the team, so we may have to.
Yeah, we'll do some drafting here in a minute. That'll be great. Anyway, looking forward to that, and thank you very much for representing Deputy Mayor. Okay, Council, we're going to do our ward reports now at this time. So, and community announcements, if any. So we'll go to Mr. Broderick. You're up first. I don't have my little card that tells me which direction. So I'm just trying to do this from memory, Councilor Walker. Yeah, we didn't make it through the reno. Okay, we'll get a new one. Go ahead, Mr. Broderick.
Thank you, Your Worship. March the 12th, attended with Mayor Measures and the Deputy Mayor, Fire Chief Davidson and staff, the It Starts flag raising at the hub. Also on the 12th, attended the Clearview Chamber of Commerce executive meeting. March 19th, the library board meeting. And also the 19th, attended the Clearview Chamber of Commerce AGM. And the 20th, the council meeting and on DC charges workshop.
All right. Thank you very much, Councilor Broderick. Councilor MacArthur.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple little things. St. Patrick's Party on March 16th at the Station on the Green was another great success with a matinee and an evening program. And just want to shout out the Creemore Coyotes season has come to an end, but congrats to them for going to Game 5 in the semifinals. So pretty good for a third-year team. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the Coyotes. Good job. No, it's okay. I was just taking a little snack there, you know, between in-camera meetings and this, having a little snack. So I'll turn it over to Councilor Janine. Phyllis.
Thank you, Your Worship. We had the Duntroon Hall 5th Annual Green Beer Day as well, and it was a great success. We had a lot of fun. Thanks to all the great volunteers in Duntroon and the Bengorm Highlanders. Everybody thoroughly enjoyed themselves, and I think we were all out of, well, I was home by 1:02 in the morning. So everybody was home probably by 1:30. So it was a really good night. Nottawa, our scrap metal bin is back. It's out the side in the parking lot. I noticed tonight when we were coming by that our first bike is there. We have a bike swap. If anyone has a rideable bike and they want to switch it out, or if somebody needs a bike, you just take one. And the first one was there tonight. And I just want to wish everybody a happy spring, happy Easter, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Beeland.
Thank you, Your Worship. March 16th, I attended the Station on the Green St. Patrick's Day celebrations, and it went really well. March 19th, Station on the Green had a board meeting. The interior is being painted right now, and other than that, everything is well. March 20th, attended the Development Charges Workshop which was very informative. And finally, I'd like to announce that former Councillor John Lamers and his wife Donna are proud grandparents once again to another granddaughter. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you for that. Congratulations to Donna and John. Thank you. Councillor Walker.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Library Board meeting on the 19th, and just the highlights from there. The board is busy looking at policy reviews, working on strategic plan, the board's strategic plan. Still having issues with accessible washroom and vandalism, and trying to make find a solution for that. We had 2 staff members attend the OLA conference, as well as some were virtually attending. And that the March break programs in all of the branches was received very, very well and very busy over the March break in our libraries. March 19th, I also attended the Chamber AGM, and I conducted the election of officers. The other is on Thursday, March 20th, we attended the Development Charges Workshop. And I would like to say congratulations for the Stainer Siskins for completion of round 2. On to the final round in the Crothers division against Alliston. First game starts in Alliston Thursday night, and first game here is Sunday at 1:30. Go Siskins, go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walker. I know that you and Judy are big fans of the Siskins, so good to see you there. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. As was stated earlier, March 12th, we were at County Council, and we also did the flag raising that day for the It Starts program. Now, March 22nd, the NVCA had their last month, this last monthly meeting. And it's one of those ones where you want to hang on tight because there's a lot of changes coming with. It's that the new bill, which I announced or we talked about, is coming into effect on April 1st. It's from the Ministry of Environment. And I did have a chance to talk with some of our senior staff about them. But I'm just going to hit on a couple of highlights, and it's very important that people understand what's coming down. And there is more highlights to follow. They've got new regulations that mapping and updates must be done annually now, so that people aren't blinded and saying, "Hey, I never knew this." Their rule is all updates for any flooding and stuff must be done annually. I did have a quick chat with Amy about that and the effects it might have on the township. Is it something that we're going to have to look at going forward in the future to use theirs, because they're going to be updating it like literally every year, so it keeps us current. A lot of agricultural issues, in particular and related to offline ponds. We don't need a permit to clean them anymore if they're for agricultural purposes, as well as don't need a permit for cleaning tile drains or municipal drains. Something
That's interesting.
yeah, it's stuff that we've been fighting with. Dan and I we've been talking about that, but there's more to come on that. One of the big things that I was excited about, the township no longer will need a permit from the NVCA to maintain or repair any of our own roads. Now, I'll throw it at you, Your Worship, a bit. I don't know if that's going to affect the NEC, this new ruling, but it's something that we are sure going to be watching. It's very important.
Thank you.
They're also looking at administrative reviews, so it's going to give a lot of our constituents, will say, the ability to appeal decisions. How that's going to happen exactly, if you have let's say a planner do a review on an application and the people don't agree with it or a decision, they're going to have a right to appeal, and it can go as far as the OLT now, the Ontario Land Tribunal. It was very interesting that they're still working out the bugs, but it looks like they're on their way. And a lot of this, it was good to hear. They do not want a duplication of services, and the Ministry of Environment is hearing everybody complaining about that, the duplication of services. One of the interesting things, and especially in light of the fact that we've just started our Climate Action Committee, there is a big component going forward where the NVCA is really going to be called on to work with that. So Ian Ockenden is our liaison person for that. He's our staff for that. So I'll be passing that name on to our committee to start, giving them something maybe to get a presentation from them to talk about it, sort of thing. Our manager of development, Ben Crewell, was excellent. in terms of bringing some of the procedural updates to light. One of the big things going forward, and I talked with Amy a bit about this, the maximum approval now, and this could be for permitting, is 5 years, which includes all extensions. So in other words, if they get a permit that's for 2 years, people can go back and say, okay, we need an extension, we need an extension. But the maximum approval length is 5 years. So I sort of, Amy questioned me a bit on, I couldn't answer the questions of whether it's a question about planning, site plan approvals and stuff like that, but for permits, it definitely sounds like the maximum is going to be 5 years, as with other things. We also had a very interesting conversation about some of our infrastructure, in particular, if there's going to be an appetite going forward of assets that are within the municipality, and how it relates to us is about the new Lowell Dam, for example. I think we own 7 or 8 dams across within BCA. And the problem is they're aging infrastructure. So at what point do we want as a municipality, or do we want as a municipality to participate in it? And it's interesting because as I explained to people, the water comes from, say, Agilatoss, the water comes from Dufferin County, it comes from all these different places, yet it ends up at the new Lowell Pond. Once it's done at the pond, it goes to Wasaga Beach. So ultimately, everybody's affected, but the asset is in our community. So what are we going to be doing in the future? Are we going to have a pond there? Are we not going to have a pond? And a lot of the stuff is going to look at the assets, why they were created in the first place. I mean, I love shared assets, and what you saw, for example, what happened in Dufferin County last week when Melancton chose not to participate in the funding of the arena anymore. It's going to create some hard feelings. So we make sure they're going to be working at this and looking at that for the future, especially.
Okay.
And that is my report. And I will be back at NVCA on Thursday with the Ag Advisory Committee. So if there's anything else people want me to bring back or ask about, please bring it to me.
Excellent. Thank you very much for all that update. And I'm interested to learn a little bit more about those changes in regulations. So I have to look that up. So thank you so much for that. Well done. Council, I've got a few items to acknowledge too. I just want to mention, Phyllis mentioned it, the Green Beer Day at the Duntroon Hall, tremendous success. Well done, volunteers who serve our community through the Duntroon Hall Board. A great event, great community event. People came from all over the township. People came from other communities. It was very well attended, very well behaved, but still a great deal of fun. And the Ben Gorham Highlanders always make us proud when they put on a show. They did a great job. So it was really nice to be there, and nice to run into you, Amanda, when you were there that day too. So it was nice to see you there. And also, Councillor Walker mentioned this. I'm particularly proud of this. The March break camps by the library were so well done and so well attended. There were so many people here. The parking lot was full. There was kids everywhere and families everywhere. It was fantastic. So well done to the staff and volunteers at the library who put together the March break camps. And I understand that even the New Lowell branch of the library had 67 or something people attend a workshop or an activity there. If you've been into that facility, that's a pretty small facility, like 67 people in there, along with all those bookshelves, it'd be packed. Like it'd just be shoulder to shoulder in there. So good for them. I'm glad to see the libraries really coming to life. So I'm very pleased for the volunteers who did that. Now, I got a couple other things I'd like to bring forward. First of all, I want to mention council and the community, our CAO, John Ferguson. John Ferguson, I received a letter today from the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators. There's an association for CAOs across Canada. And our CAO, John Ferguson, has been acknowledged as being a member for 15 years as a CAO. And he's been over 30 years as a municipal leader. And so I thought that was quite nice to have the CAMA recognize Mr. Ferguson. So congratulations, John, on your service in 15 years as being an administrator. Good job. We're happy to have you. Well done, sir. He's wearing a flashy new pin, so you guys will have to look at that when you get a chance to see him. It's a little sparkly, so just keep your glasses on. Congratulations, John. We're really pleased that you're here, and well done, sir, and all your service that you've done for communities, across our country. Good job. Okay, council, big celebration happened. If our deputy clerk could bring this up. I want to put this up on the screen, or who's got that? Our clerk or deputy clerk? Okay, the clerk's got it. Here we go. Here we go. There you go. This is the Clearview Canucks, the U18 Tier 2 team who won in overtime, and they're now heading to the OMHA finals this weekend. Well done, Clearview Canucks U18 team. Those guys have, been coming up through the ranks in Clearview minor hockey, and this is quite a pinnacle for them to reach this. So congratulations to them, winning in an overtime winner right here at the Stainer Community Center. Fantastic. And also, I want to acknowledge, we just learned about this. I'm sorry I didn't know about this because don't have any kids involved in hockey right now. But the Canucks, the U13 team, the under 13 team, they also won this weekend, and they're off to the OMHA finals as well. So congratulations to our Clearview Canucks. This is certainly playoff hockey season. And so we're really thankful that and congratulating them on doing a great job. Also, our Stainer Siskins, as Mr. Walker pointed out, they also won the second round in a 4.5 game series that took us right here to a 4-game win. And they're now entering the Carruthers Cup Championship Series against our long-standing rival, the Alliston Hornets. So congratulations to Alliston, of course, for making it to this far as well. But our Stainer Siskins will be here waiting for you, and we're going to have a great series with them. If you're familiar, folks, the Stainer Siskins have gone on to have many overtime periods in playoff hockey. So we're really grateful that they've made it this far, and we're going to have a great series with them. Deputy Mayor.
Your worship, I just hope we will be in county council tomorrow. And as usual, our rivalry between Richard Norcross, the mayor of New Tech, and our mayor, Doug Measures, is usually amicable, but can you please make an effort to remind him of that? And,
no problem. Deputy Mayor, I made a phone call to him today. So those things are underway, and I'm sure we're going to have a conversation about that. Not to worry. Our friends at New Tecumseh will certainly know what Clearview is and what the Stainer Siskins are all about. Anyway, that's all I have at this time. So I just want to acknowledge that, and also happy to celebrate for folks in this town. Again, Deputy Mayor.
thank you. I'm sorry. I see Miss Amanda Murray out there. And I just remind everybody, we have our awards coming up for the end of the month. Amanda, is our last day for it. And I know certain people are working diligently on getting stuff into us. So to you, but please, everybody, remind everybody to get their application, their nominations in, because it's a real honorable thing to do and for this community. And we'd like to recognize
Absolutely.
people. So please get the word out and continue to get the word out. Thank you.
Yep. The Clearview Culture and Sports Hall of Fame is taking nominations right up until the 31st. And I know that we have received some. There are some categories that we could certainly use some more nominations. And so we're encouraging the public to think about that and nominate somebody who's done something great for Clearview Township in the categories that are provided. So any information you need is on discoverclearview.ca. Thank you very much. Council, we're going to move on in our agenda unless there's nothing further. Looking up and down the table. Please, Paul, you sure had a lot to say tonight, boy. Good Bob. All right, Council, we're going to move on. Department reports at this time. We're going to go to administration, the CAO 005-2024. It's the 2023 annual corporate report. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report CAO 005-2024. It's the 2023 annual corporate report dated March 25th, 2024 for information. Can I take a mover of Mr. Walker and seconded by Deneen? Thank you very much. Mr. CAO, do you speak to this report as well as to accept my personal congratulations on a very well assembled presentation? I thought it was really good, well put together.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have to extend the appreciation for putting all this together. Is Drew Hale put this together. She coordinated all the information from the departments. Departments obviously gathered their information, put into the report. And it speaks to our strategic plan and the change from our previous plan. It also speaks to the library and all our departments and the various milestones they've made this year and some of the statistics that they've provided in it makes up part of this report. So it's a good one-stop shopping to get a little bit of a taste of what each department is doing this past.
Fantastic. All right, members of council, do you have any questions on this report? Did you also? Yes, Mr. Walker is up first.
I'd just like to echo your remarks, your worship, all the years, it's a great report and, for the public to be able to access this and to review this, it certainly should give them a flavor of what departments do and how they react with each other and work together as a unit.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. I got to hand it to him. I was really impressed with what was there. And it's, for a lot of people, this is a great reference. We'll say book almost, but for instance, I was able to read about the fire department, how many calls they did and, you know, how the type of responses and everything else. And people don't realize how much a lot of these departments do, how many miles we cover, how many calls we do and stuff like that. So I really appreciated seeing the book sort of things. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good information for sure. And I think the public should understand that this is what your tax dollars do. And we have a great community and we can demonstrate the various departments' services that are being done. Anybody else with any comments? Nothing further? All right, we've got a mover and seconder on this, so I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? It carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Good job. Thank you again, CAO, and our thanks to Drew Hale. All right, Parks and Recreation Department, we have the Ontario Trillium Foundation grant. And I'll read the recommendation, then I think we have a couple of people here who might want to speak about it. Recommendation, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PCR 006-2024. It's the Ontario Trillium Foundation grant dated March 25th, 2024. Item 1, that a bylaw authorizing the Township Treasurer to execute the Ontario Trillium Foundation grant contract be presented at the March 25th, 2024 meeting for approval. Can I take a mover and seconder on that? Mr. Broderick, thank you. Is there a seconder? Councilor Janine, thank you very much. Terry, I know it's your department that did it, but I suspect you have some of your staff here. Do you want to introduce your staff and perhaps they could comment on it?
Sure. Yes. Thank you. Before I introduce the staff, Your Worship, maybe I'd just like to share that some really great news with council with this grant. This was a grant that we applied back in October of 2023. To be really honest, this is one of those grants we really didn't think we had much of a chance. It's a very competitive grant throughout the province of Ontario. And our team really worked hard and got really creative on our application process, which obviously the province was very in tune to support. In my report, it shows the goals of the grant. So the community will be receiving approximately $200,000, which is 100% paid for. It's not one of those grants where it's like a cost sharing, like a 50-50. It's 100% paid for. We are going to be hiring an active communities programmer for a 2-year contract to really help and plan recreation programming in our township. Yes, we do have Miss Murray and Miss Rogers with us this evening. They were key players in the application process. And they seem to really get energized on these applications. And we're starting to see a lot of positive results, not just with this grant, but other smaller grants, and specifically for the youth center. This grant is going to intertwine directly with the youth center and really engage our youths as part of it. So not just the youth in the youth center, but youths across Clearview Township, but it's going to really help and engage some of the youth there. So yeah, we have Miss Murray and Miss Rogers here. They know the increment details of the application. They're definitely available to answer any questions that council may have. And it's always fun to share with council some positive news and some 100% covered grants. So I hopefully we're here to answer any questions, Your Worship, and hopefully this will materialize into a very positive results for the township.
Right. Thank you very much, Terry Vachon. I appreciate that. Members of council, do you have any questions for our staff with this wonderful grant? Yes, Mr. MacArthur.
Yeah, just more of a comment. I think anytime that we can get additional funds to improve an already fantastically run program that the Parks and Rec put on is just a benefit to everybody. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for the comment. Any other councilors with any questions or comments? All right. I'll take the opportunity to ask a quick question, both of you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how this Clearview Active Communities project is going to impact a greater community. I can absolutely see the value and the impact it will have with the youth center. So Ms. Rogers, I'm sure you'll keep keep the participants in there really active as well as your staff there too. I'm sure they'll all be pretty active too. But perhaps, Ms. Murray, you could explain how this is impacting the whole community.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you very much, Your Worship, and good evening, members of council. So the main goal for the Active Communities Programmer in the community perspective will be to implement programming for community-wide initiatives. So, for example, this fund will purchase carpet bowling to provide indoor lawn bowling, which is kind of a fun way of doing indoor bowling inside at a facility such as the Stainer Community Center. We'll also be able to implement some new safe cycling initiatives. So for those of you that recall, trail tunes, as well as some regional trail strategies that we're involved with, really look at improving cycling opportunities for our residents. And by adding safe cycling initiatives as a key component with the Active Communities Programmer, we'll really be able to dive into that, give people the skills to be on bikes, to do repairs, to know our trails, so to really get out into our community. So I think those are two real big opportunities. I'll let Ms. Rogers speak to some of the other elements, because I think you'll also see how Active Communities Programmer will be able to continue what we're trying to do, not just in year one, but into year two as well.
Okay. Welcome, Courtney. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Worship and members of council. As you know, the youth center has continued to grow and very successfully over, actually this June will be 5 years since the municipality took over the youth center. And with growth comes larger needs and needs from our youth specifically. So we're really trying to turn our youth center around to be incredibly youth-led and ask them, what is it that they want? Because that's what is most important. And what I'm hearing from them and what really inspired the ideas when our department came up with this was they want more opportunity to be active. But a lot of our youth face a lot of financial challenges in our families, and participating in sport, one of the biggest barriers is finances. And so a lot of what inspired this was for us to be able to bring somebody onto our team who was educated and certified and able to run programs for us to be able to reduce those barriers to participation for our youth. So I'm really excited to be able to expand access to sport and activity for our youth and for our greater community as well. And hopefully being able to use this person to get into those other hamlets of Clearview Township as well, to be able to support all the youth in our township.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that explanation. I appreciate that. Any other members of council with any questions? Well, we've got our staff here. No? Okay, actually, I do have one item that was provided to me as well. I just wanted to bring to the attention of members of council, perhaps some of the staff. It's Courtney's birthday today. Happy birthday. Thank you for being here on your birthday. I'm sure that your kids are missing you right now, but we'll let you go home early. How's that? Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, 21 again. All right. Members of council, I don't think there's anything further, so we've got a mover and seconder on this motion. I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? And that carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone, for that. And I look forward to having that executed. And Madam Treasurer, get your signature on that agreement and we'll get it underway. Right? Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our another Parks and Recreation report. This is the Centennial Bridge approval. And I'll read the recommendation and then I'll look for a mover and seconder. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PCR 007 2024. It's the Centennial Bridge Park Bridge approval dated March 25th, 2024. And item 1, the council approved the proposal submitted by Algonquin Bridge in the amount of $87,815 plus HST sole source for the middle bridge replacement in Centennial Park, Stainer. Excuse me, I'll look for a mover and seconder. Mr. Broderick, you're another seconder there. Mr. Walker, thank you very much. All right, back over to you, Mr. Vachon. Would you like to speak to this report?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So this is a budgeted item in our capital, as part of our capital lists. We went out for pricing with this supplier. As per my report, there was 2 options that was provided to the township. The first one is to either hire an engineer to do the designs and then take that design and go out for tender or request for proposal with it. Or the second option, which is just to hire a company that actually provides the engineering and the bridge service together. So the department recommends to council that we move forward with the recommendation that we hire this company to do both the engineering and the as-built bridge. You will see in my report some pictures of what the bridge will look like. It was very important to us that we would get a bit of a round, like a curvature bridge to assist us with the flow of water. So if you know, as you know right now, the bridge is kind of flat with the ground. When we have some heavy waterways or heavy storms, quite often the water will flow over that bridge. So the intent here is to have a bridge that's more curved like to be able to accommodate that. And the second part is to make the bridge a picturesque location in that park. We know there's a lot of weddings that take pictures in that park. And we feel that a nice new refreshed bridge there will also look very nice for the public, and they might be able to use that as a bit of an area for pictures. So with that being said, Your Worship, I'm available for any questions that council may have.
All right, thank you very much, Terry. It's a good report and some good photographs there. I hope that that's sort of the design we're looking to receive. Members of council, do you have any questions to Terry on this report? Yes, go ahead, Paul.
Terry, you mentioned it's a sole source. Is there not many people building bridges like similar to this Algonquin? Do they have a captive market on this, or is it just the way it is sort of thing?
Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, through you, Your Worship, to Deputy Mayor Van Severen. Yes, there's not too many companies out there that do both the stamped engineering drawings and build a bridge together. There's a lot of companies that build bridges, but they rely on an engineer or a community to hire an engineer to do that service for them. So we're very, very limited. There are a few, but they're either in the other provinces or at the far end of Ontario. And it's more, a lot of them are very busy. So this was the only one that provided us a proposal.
Okay, and second question to Terry, with as much as it's meant to be a walking bridge, is it strong enough to handle our lawn and garden equipment to go over top of it, to go from one side of the river to the other?
Yes, sorry. Did you say lawnmower?
Lawnmowers and
Lawn and garden, yes.
lawn and garden equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Again, through you, Your Worship, Deputy Mayor. Yes, it definitely can withstand the weight of lawnmowers or lawn equipment. We haven't done a research to see if it would withstand the weight of the the snowmobile trail groomers. But they have their own bridge on the far east side of that park.
Right.
So they should not have a need, but if their bridge went down, maybe they'd want to cross our bridge if required. But so we haven't done the research for the groomer, but it can withstand all lawn equipment for sure.
I don't think I saw the bridge we did at the Ed Christie Bridge. I don't think we have the strength on this thing to support
Coming
it.
in groomer, yeah.
For
Yeah,
that,
the Ed
Mr.
Christie
Broderick.
Bridge is pretty substantial.
No,
It's a pretty
But
big bridge.
they have their own bridge.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, thank you for that. Is there any other members of council with any, excuse me, any questions to Terry? No? Okay, that's great. Terry, I would have one question that I can only ask that you, of course, will work with our building department and through the CAO, consult with our engineers to make sure that the engineering is correct. Right? Before
Yep,
we
not a
install
problem.
that.
Yep.
Would you agree, Mr. CAO? You want to make sure the engineering is correct?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Always good to double check.
Thank you. All right, very good. Members of council, there's nothing further. We've got a mover and seconder, so I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you so much. All right, we've got another report, which is also related to the Recreation Department, but it's actually from Human Resources. It's in regards to the community center here, the Senior Community Center, North Entrance Accessibility Entry. So I know Tammy Gill is here. She represents that committee. So I'll read this motion, look for a mover and seconder. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report HR 00124, and that is for the Stainer Community Center North Entrance Accessibility Entry, dated March 25th, 2024, and that item 1, Council support the recommendation provided by the Clearview Accessibility Advisory Committee to utilize $5,000 from the Accessibility Capital Project Reserve to go towards the upgrading both doors from the north entrance of the Stainer Community Center and Library. Perfect. I'll look for a mover and seconder. Mr. Walker, thank you. I know you're on that committee. Is there a seconder? Mr. MacArthur, I'll take you there. Thank you. Tammy, would you like to speak to this, and perhaps Terry as well? Because I know it's right here in this building. Go ahead.
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. I sit on the Accessibility Advisory Committee as a staff liaison, and so bringing this report forward to assist the Parks and Recreation Department in upgrading our facility just a little bit and making the north entrance doors accessible for patrons to come in and out of the building. And so we're partnering with the Parks and Recreation Department on that. And the committee is recommending that we utilize $5,000 from its capital reserve to help fund the project.
Great. Terry, do you want to add anything to that? I know you take a look at this and you look after this building as part of your department. So, all right. He's shaking his head. Nothing. Members of council, any questions? No questions? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Tammy and Terry. Prepare to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much, folks. Okay, cyberdomes. This is an interesting one. The Legislative Services Department have a report regarding the Friends of Cyberdomes dissolution. I'll read the recommendation and then I'll look for a mover and seconder. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report LS 012-2024 Friends of the Cyberdomes dissolution dated March 25th, 2024. And item 1, that Council dissolve the Friends of the Cyberdomes as a program area of the township and repeal the terms of reference that were approved on March the 19th, 2018. Okay, I'll look for a mover and second. Mr. Broderick, seconded by Mr. Beelan. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, this is from your department. Maybe you can just explain what's going on here for the public's purpose.
Thank you, Worship, through you to the rest of the council. So the CEO has been working with the Friends of the Cybernome as well as the treasurer. We're just bringing this report more for liability reasons. The Cybernomes have gone out on their own. Township has supported them in doing so. So this is just the final piece that they're no longer a program area under the township. I don't know if the CEO or the treasurer would like to speak more on the financials and how they're working on their own and have their own bank account.
Right. Little table tennis here, knocking the ball over to you there, CAO. Go ahead.
Last year we met with the Cybernomes and they've moved towards incorporating under their own legal entity and status. They've purchased their own insurance. We've assisted with this process and we plan on continuing to assist with this process for them, but so that they operate under their own auspices and I think they're doing very well. They had a very good year last year and a lot of support in the community. And I think there's an opportunity for them to go well into the future, many, many years. So good working with them. This doesn't mean they're not functioning at all. This is just a dissolution of the former process that we used to have with them.
Okay. And Kelly, do you have anything you want to add? I know you want to get in on the table tennis. Go ahead.
Thank you, Worship, through you to the rest of the council. I don't think I can add really much more to what John or Sasha has said. We're always here for them. It's just they're better on their own at this point.
Sounds fair enough. Okay, I see people do want to speak. So I see the deputy mayor first. Was it Marty, you're next? Okay, go ahead, deputy mayor.
Thank you. Quick question to our CAO and to to Kelly. We have, I see in our next report, we are recommending a grant to the Cybernomes. If they had not dissolved, where we're restructured, would we have been in contravention? Could we have been able to approve that grant, being that they were technically a division of the township of Clearview? I know you had a special term for it, but they were under our umbrella, so to speak.
Your Worship, to Deputy Mayor Van Savern, no, they would not have. And in fact, they've had to return grants in similar circumstances when they were a recreational program because they were not able to accept them. Now that they're not for profit and on their own, that opens it wide up for all different types of grants that they can apply for.
Okay, so we're okay with our grant recommendation at this point.
Yes.
Thank you.
Marty, do you have a question?
No, I just have a comment. We helped them out when they were starting out and now they've grown up and they're moving out. So empty nest.
That's so true. That is exactly the way, and frankly, I sat on council here and so did Councillor Walker at the time when they lost their home at the high school and our council and community stepped up to support them. And I think, overall they've shown it's a very good program. It's a good program for youth that are interested in that type of technical work, as well as teamwork, that they work together as a team. So I'm very pleased for them. I'm very pleased that they've matured to this level. I'm also want to congratulate members of the community and business community who continue to sponsor and support them. I met a couple of gentlemen who own a company in Barrie who live here in our township, and they support them with a pretty substantial grant every year. And so I was quite impressed with that. And so congratulations to them as, reaching this point. I wish them all the best in their success, and glad that they're still named Clearview. So good for them, the Clearview Cyber Gnomes. Good for them. Okay, if there's nothing further, we have a mover and seconder. Thank you, staff, for working on this. We have a mover and seconder. I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Again, thank you so much. Well done. Okay, Deputy Mayor, now we got your community assistance grants you brought up. So I'll read the recommendation. Look for a mover and seconder. Be it resolved, Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report LS 013 2024. This is the 2024 Community Assistance Grant and Sponsorship First Intake Period, dated March 25th, 2024. And item 1, that the distribution of the 2024 Community Assistance Grant and Sponsorship First Intake, as outlined in Appendix A to this report, be approved as presented. Ms. Deneen, Mr. Deputy Mayor, is the seconder. And I do that because you two are on the committee that put this together. So thank you for that work. Members of council, do you have any questions on the list and on the work that was done by your committee? Being none. Oh, Mr. Walker, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a quick question to the committee. When these applications come forward and they're running various programs, are there stipulations that Clearview Township is identified as a support unit for some of these programs that these groups are running?
Like a sponsorship. Phyllis, do you want to handle that, or Paul? Sasha. We're going to go to Sasha.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you to Councillor Walker. That is a great question. Currently, our policy is absent in the way of marketing and if we sponsor a program. As you remember, last year was our first kind of term that we actually had the sponsorship portion put in there, but that doesn't mean that we can't amend our policy and require that they use certain guidelines showcasing that Clearview Township is a sponsor of their event. So you bring up a good point, and this is a living document, and as we go through, these are the types of things that we learn from, so.
Okay, well, we can bring that up as a notice of motion sometime. Maybe perhaps if council wants to work with the clerk's department to put that together, that'd be very interesting to hear that. I'm gonna go to Paul first. I saw it, and then I saw Phyllis. Go ahead, Paul.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would have to say that our committee has a keen interest in everybody who has applied for money, and we vet them. We also go out in the community in a lot of cases to find out who they are if we don't know. There are certain groups that we sponsor that I wouldn't want to force them to acknowledge what we do, because there's certain things that we do, we'll say behind the scenes. It's good for the community, sort of thing. Other applications, yes, it would be, we can fly our flag quite easily, sort of thing, but I wouldn't want to get to a point where we force people to use it, because there's some stuff that is sort of it's far reaching in what we do with the effects of my comment to that request.
Okay, well, again, we can have that discussion working with the clerk's department if we needed to make that amendment. Phyllis Deneen, Councilor Deneen.
I kind of echo what Deputy Mayor Van Staven said. However, it's community assistant grant and sponsorship, and there are guidelines for what they can use things for. And the sponsorships part, we're sponsoring them. That would be like the sports groups and things. And if they were to do anything more, it would probably cost them more to put our name out there. I'm kind of likening it to when we did a sponsorship for the Gordon Air.
Right. Yes.
So that was specifically for a sponsorship for something. But yeah, I think some of this, it would cost them to do sponsor, to dedicate us as a sponsor. And I'd rather see the money go elsewhere. That's all. And I must say that thanks to Deputy Mayor, people got their money because I'm just a little bit more frugal. And I thank them for that.
That's
Think-
why it's a committee.
We work well as a group. We work well together.
Yes. Sasha, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship, and not to belabor this point about sponsorship, but it could just be as simple as putting a sentence in their grant letter just stating, if you wish to recognize the township, please reach out and we'll provide you with approved logos to use.
Fair enough. Well, I would hope that you'll work with the members here that are interested in this and you can come up with a recommendation. Okay, thank you. Now, before we go on, and I want to thank both the deputy mayor and Councilor Janine for sitting on this committee, but I also want to acknowledge our deputy clerk who works very hard to keep these two committee members in order and keep track of all this information. So thank you very much, Krista, for the work that you do on this committee as well. Members of council, you've got a motion in front of you. I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you so much. Okay. We only got one other report, right? Here we go. Yep. Oh, this is also from the clerk's department. This is very important. This is a very important one right here. You have to change the date of a council meeting. How about that? Regular council meetings are important to us, and so we have to make sure that we have them fully advertised and make sure everybody knows when a regular council meeting is. Be it resolved that council of the township of Clearview hereby receive report LS 014-2024, a regular council meeting schedule amendment dated March 25th, 2024. And item 1, the council approved moving the regular scheduled council meeting date of Monday, June the 3rd, 2024 to Tuesday, June the 4th, 2024 to accommodate the attendance of the Small Halls Festival Golf Tournament. Can I have a mover and second? Deneen, Beelan. You guys are the 2 and the 4, so who else is in there? Any questions about this? The Small Hall Festival Golf Tournament, which was recently announced. We're very grateful to the board and the members of the Mad River Golf and Country Club. Sorry, I'm just Mad and Noisy. That's a beer, by the way. It's excellent. But the Mad River Golf Club for hosting the Small Hall Festival Golf Tournament. First time we've ever done this. Certainly looking forward to it, and memberships people can sign up to get a foursome through Clearview or discoverclearview.ca. So we're really looking forward to it, and I'm sure many members of the council will be there, whether they golf well or not. Right, Paul?
I won't tell you what I call the game of golf, but I do hang around there.
There you go. All right. Any further questions or any comments on it? Thank you. All right. You've got a motion in front of you. I'll call the motion. All in favor? And that carries unanimous. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, clerks, for accommodating that change in the agenda. All right. Let's see. We have our bylaws now in front of us. We have bylaw 2424. All right. Zoning bylaw amendment for 7674 County Road 91. Recommendation, be it resolved that bylaw 2424, being a bylaw to regulate the use of plans and character, location and use of building structures on lands municipally known as 7674 County Road 91, legally described as Part Lot 25, Concession 4, Registered Plan 51R 42008, Part 6, formerly in Ottawasaga, now in Clearview Township, be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the 25th day of March 2024. Can I get a mover and seconder, please? Mr. Deputy Mayor and Mr. MacArthur. Thank you. Council, you've got the bylaw in front of you. I'll call it. All those in favor? And that's unanimous. The bylaw carries unanimous. Thank you. Amend appointment bylaw schedule number A, recommendation, be it resolved that bylaw 2425, being a bylaw to amend schedule A of bylaw 22101, appointing members to the Township of Clearview committees, boards, be presented and read a first, second, third time, finally passed, 25th day of March 2024. Can I have that moved by Councilor Deneen, seconded by Councilor Walker? Council, you've got the bylaw in front of you. Seeing no questions, I'll prepare to call it. All those in favor? And the bylaw carries. Thank you. And Resilient Communities Fund Grant, Ontario Trillium Foundation. We spoke about that earlier. This is the recommendation for that through bylaw. Be it resolved that bylaw 2426, being a bylaw to authorize entering into a resilient community fund grant contract with the Ontario Trillium Foundation for the Clearview Active Communities Project, be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed 25th day of March 2024. Moved by Mr. Broderick, seconded by Mr. MacArthur. Thank you very much. Any questions on that? Seeing none, I'll call the bylaw. All in favor? And that bylaw carries unanimous as well. All right, well done. Council, we're in a section we don't usually see a whole lot, and today we've got two. We've got notice of motions from two members of council. So Councilor Beelan, I'm going to consider you the mover on this first one. I'm then going to read it, and then we'll look for a seconder if there's one available. Councilor Beelan, you comfortable with that? Thank you very much. Okay. Whereas the Township of Clearview owns 7 community halls that are operated by separate hall boards, and whereas the Creemore Station on the Green is the only community hall that is on township water and sewer and pays utility bills to the township for these services, which is approximately $1,100 annually. And whereas the washrooms located at the station on the Green are utilized by the public on a year-round basis during the weekends and some weekdays when the community hall is not rented. And whereas this is a community benefit to the township for use of the washrooms and by members of the public. Whereas the other 6 community halls are not required to provide these additional public services at a cost to the board, that they are on their own wells and septic systems, with the Township Water Department providing maintenance of these water systems per regulatory requirements. Therefore, in recognition of the above community benefit, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve paying for the bi-monthly water and sewer bills for the station on the Green located at 10 Caroline Street East in Creemore, Clearview Township. Mr. Beelan, and I will look for a seconder on his motion. Is there a seconder on the motion? Mr. MacArthur. Thank you very much. Mr. Beelan, I'll give you the benefit to go ahead and speak first.
Yeah, when I was looking at how the washroom is used, I mean, the public uses it sometimes. Station on the Green uses it sometimes. Station on the Green pays for all the things that the washroom provides. They pay for the toilet paper, the paper towels, the soap, and they also pay for the water. So I thought, since the other halls don't pay for the water, this is sort of a fair way of having the township pay for the public use portion, and Station on the Green still pays their portion. So if we could pay for the water bill, it sort of makes it fair.
All right. Does any other members of council have any questions on this? I'd like to question Mr. Beelan. Yes, please go ahead, Paul.
Marty, with the, do you want us, are we looking at waiving the fees or are we looking at putting it through a department to pay the fees for that?
I was looking at waiving them.
I don't know if we can do that or we have to put that through a budget process. Can somebody explain?
I can help you there.
Okay, please.
Certainly, if you look at across the township, our budgets for various departments that have municipally owned buildings. Good example is the libraries. We give taxes to the library to run the library every year. Part of the taxes that we give to run the library operate their budget, and their budget does pay for their water and sewer uses on the places where they're connected. So their budget to run the library pays for water services. So it's the taxpayer who's paying.
Right. So I guess the question comes back, how should this be done properly, fairly, so that nobody will disagree with, or I presume nobody will disagree with the concept, Marty, but how should we do it?
I think the good point there is that we have to account for this funding if council makes this decision. So good point. I'd like to go to the CAO through him. We'll perhaps direct to the treasurer or the recreation department.
Yeah, certainly. I have a point of view on it in the sense that I think it should be a budgeted item on behalf of the entity that we would forward that payment to. Part of it is that it's important that people have an idea of what their water bill is doing over each month, over the year, to make sure that it's not being misused or overused. And if they have it in a budget, then it's something that they can monitor in their budget each year. We can allocate to it. And if there's any spikes in it, we'll be able to recognize and maybe prevent those spikes from occurring in the future. The water there, I believe, is it shared with the Village on the Green as well?
No, I believe they're separate, Terry.
Separate?
When we built the Village on the Green, we made sure that they were separate entities.
Well, that'll certainly help. And that would be my approach to it. Give them the money towards the water. Waiving it, you just don't know what you're waiving each year, basically, until you get towards the end of the year. I think they should free ask for what they feel that their bill should be for the year. Allocate that money to them, allow them to manage it within their budget. If there's an issue with it and they have to come back to us, that's another matter. But I think it should be handled by them managing it in their budget. At least they're watching the water consumption.
I know the treasurer's got a point of view on it too. So hear what the treasurer has to say.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to point out that along with CEO Ferguson's option, there's also the option for the township to direct the bill internally, so that rather than Station on the Green receiving a water sewer bill, it would go likely more to the Recreation Department as Creemore Parks, and it would be absorbed through that. We can't waive bills because as soon as the water goes through the meters, we need to account for it. So that's, unfortunately, it's not an option. But I believe the internal sort of reallocation of the bill would probably be the easiest.
Okay, and if I'll add, before Terry speaks, I would suggest that because we're, I guess it's just a little, about a quarter way through 2024, that we do exactly that the treasurer is acknowledging. But I would think that in the budget year for the Recreation Department, that they need to take that into account for their budgeting purposes for next year and then going forward. Does that make sense? Okay. Terry, do you have any comment on it?
No, and not really, Your Worship, just to echo what Kelly, Ms. McDonald said. We do have our Creemore Parks or other general ledgers that we could use. I'll work with the treasurer to figure out which one makes the most sense so that we can keep track of this, but yeah, either way.
Okay. Right. So for clarity, yes, Deputy Mayor, go ahead. And then
If we are going that route, Terry, would the comment CEO Ferguson made about a spike, like if they had a water main break or something break, would you see that or would they be seeing that, or who would see it to react to it quickly?
the water department would bring it to our attention.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I mean, I would see it through the billing, but I think other departments would probably see it before I see it through the billing process. But yeah, we do see that one. And similar to the Village Green, we monitor that one as well, splash pad and stuff. So we do keep an eye on it. Our water department keeps a really keen eye to make sure that if there's a leak, they'll know right away. If I would also see it, but when I would see it, hopefully it's been dealt with by then.
Yeah. Anybody, Marty, do you have something else you want to add? Oh, I see it on there, Robert, sorry.
Yeah, you're
Where
working.
the tables are set up, I don't see everybody just perfectly. Go ahead.
Just a question, we're talking about water. Are we talking about water and sewer or just water? I mean, Marty talked about water and I'm just not sure what we're talking. You're talking about the whole package? Or
We
just the
bill,
water source?
we bill water and sewer together in one
Oh,
bill.
that's correct.
Yeah, so because they're connected to public servicing, both sewer and water, it's one bill.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you.
That's correct, right, Kelly? Thank you, yes, okay. Right. Marty, got anything else you want to add? Okay, Madam Clerk, do you need any further clarity on this motion, or is this understood?
Thank you, Worship. If it passes tonight, then the next bill, we would start rerouting to the Parks and Recreation Department.
All right, members of council, any other questions? All right, we've had a good discussion. I'm prepared to call the motion. Those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Beelan, for bringing that forward. All right. Okay, and now we've got another long read here. Councillor Deneen has brought forward a recommendation. So Councillor Deneen, I'll look for you as the mover. And then after I've read it, I'll ask for a seconder. All right. This is a request to endorse Federal Bill C-63, House Commons. Whereas the Canadian federal government has drafted Bill C-63, the Online Harms Act, currently in front of the Parliament and has had its first reading. And whereas Bill C-63 requires that online tech companies and social media platforms remove child pornography and other dangerous content within 24 hours once the operator identifies the content, while also mandating the following duties: the duty to protect children, the duty to act responsibly, and the duty to remove egregious content. And whereas the Canadian federal government proposes to establish a digital safety commission and nominate an independent ombudsman to proactively circumvent potential harms on behalf of Canadians. And whereas online tech companies and social media platforms need to adhere to existing criminal laws, and whereas online tech companies and social media platforms need to be held accountable to keep platforms safe from predators targeting children and other vulnerable Canadians, and to protect them from bullying, hate, extremism, violence, discrimination, self-harm, exploitation, and sexual extortion that can lead to the most dire of consequences. And whereas Clearview Township, as all Canadians, endeavors to foster safe homes, communities, schools, and public spaces. Now therefore be it resolved. Item 1, that the mayor and council of Clearview Township endorse the passing of Bill C-63 in the House of Commons and establishment of a digital safety commission and nomination of an independent ombudsman. And item 2, that a copy of this resolution be circulated to all municipalities in Ontario, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, Terry Dowdle, our MPP, the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, and the Honorable Arif Virani, Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of Canada. Okay, Councillor Deneen, you're going to be the mover. I'll look to council. Is there a seconder on this motion? Mr. Walker, thank you very much for seconding that. Okay, Councillor Deneen, I'll give you the pleasure of speaking to this first.
How long do I have?
Go ahead.
Bill C-63 is really just a high level overview. It's been 2 years that it should have, sorry, you want, okay. It should have been tabled 2 years ago. It's 2 years too late. You know, we have all kinds of safeguards for our children. We've got seatbelts in cars. You can't smoke in your vehicles. There's a CAS to keep them safe. They're not equipped to deal with the consequences of their inadvertent postings or whatever they're doing online. They're just not equipped to deal with what could happen to them. This bill excludes private messaging. The ombudsman's being put in place to deal with frivolous, trivial, and vexatious complaints made in bad faith. So there are all those safeguards in it. There's one other duty that I didn't put in here, and it's the duty to keep the records of wrongdoings for a longer period of time, so that there could be criminal justice for these actions. Anybody that's ever watched Amanda Todd's story or listened to her mother, Carol Todd, talk about Amanda's suicide, it's not gender specific either. It happens to all people. I know that the sexual extortion, anyway, I'm just getting a little bit emotional about it. Extortion, sexual extortion is out there. It's happening to children in our high schools now. They are being extorted for things that they're posting online and then being shared by predators, whatever, or anybody that wants to extort money from them. There have been instances where there have been children that have paid all of their money. They are too embarrassed to talk to their parents about it, and that's what ends up happening. Like I said, Amanda Todd's her predator was from Holland, from the Netherlands, and I'm sure everybody, they aren't familiar, should be familiar with that. I've asked people to Google the Mark Zuckerberg apology to the parents. The U.S. Senate hearing, congressional, but it's very relevant to this and it's very eye-opening. It's just in its infancy. The first reading's been done. It's got 2 more readings in the House of Commons. Then it goes to the Senate for 3 readings, and then it goes to Royal Assent, to the Royal Assent part. I don't care who tabled it. It's a conversation we have to have. And the sooner something is done with it, the better. Ego should not be brought forward with this. It should just be worked on and made, like, amend it. Don't let it go. It's a very important bill to have passed to safeguard our children and other vulnerable Canadians. And that's my spiel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Janine. Members of council, do you have any questions to Councillor Janine or any comments on this motion as presented? Mr. Deputy Mayor, I see you looking for others. Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Just a quick question. I noticed that the ask is to circulate through the municipalities in Ontario. I know the Association of Municipalities, and I recognize too that this is federal jurisdiction when it comes to communication. Do we look at circulating it to the provincial legislature as well, or is this something that's out of their jurisdiction?
I think we can go to the clerk on that.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to the Deputy Mayor. This was actually something that Councillor Deneen had asked me. That's why we're forwarding it to the federal government, because it is out of their jurisdiction. But Councillor Deneen did think that there was benefit in circulating to all municipalities, just to put it at the forefront to also support this at the federal level and to really push it to their MPs.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions to Councillor Janine or comments on the motion as presented? Nope, seeing none. I'll just give one comment. I want to thank you very much, Councillor Janine, for bringing this forward. And I too support the fact that you, what you said, you don't care which party or who tabled it. It's just this should have been done 2 years ago. And I think that our federal government in all sides of the house need to stand up and recognize that we need to protect children, act responsibly, and deal with digital content sooner than later. Thank you very much for bringing it forward. Members of council, we have a motion in front of us. I'm looking to call the motion. Those in favor? On that, carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Councillor Janine. All right, council, nothing further in new business? No? Members of staff looking across, we're all good? I do have a little bit of new business. So I guess we've got a sort of a temporary Air Force base here in Clearview Township right now. We've got 6 CT-115 Hawks. They're Canadian, Royal Canadian Air Force trainer jets. They're at our Collingwood Regional Airport right now. As the end of the month, those jets will be officially out of service, which is only a couple of days away. And they are going to be towed down to base Borden. I know that our staff through the Public Works Department and the Roads Department, with the Fire Department's help, have been arranging to find out some dates and times and travel distances and roads we're going to be using. And frankly, it's not firmed up. Nobody actually knows for sure. The military and those handlers of these aircraft are making decisions based on the conditions of the roads, as well as consulting, I believe, with the OPP about traffic. And so it could happen quite late at night. It could happen quite early in the morning. It could happen anytime. But in the meantime, we do have a little bit of a spectacle to see 6, trainer jets sitting on the tarmac at Collingwood Airport right here in Clearview, which is something you just do not see very often. So it's quite nice to see them. So be aware of that. They're going to be doing a little bit of road movement with those. And, I have to tell you, when we talked last term about roads and road safety and so on, and everybody using the road and share the road, I have to tell you, I quipped out at that one meeting that, we've even had F-18s use our road. So now I'm going to be able to say that we've had the 155 Hawks use our roads as well. So there you go. Yes.
We've had to go out every day and check that they're still there. Even the grandkids had to go and see them. And it's a funny thing because when I was taking a picture of them, you can appreciate this, Dan. There's a share the road sign right in front of where I was.
Nice. I want to see that. Dan, would you like to say something?
I can confirm they will not be sharing any road when they start moving down to Base Borden.
They'll be blocking the road completely.
They'll be using all of the road.
That's right. They'll be using all of the road. Fair enough. Thank you for that. Again, so we don't know exactly when things are going to transpire, but they are working with all the proper road authorities to make sure that it's going to be a safe transit for all these vehicles, all these aircraft. Council, we have the bylaw to confirm proceedings. Let's read that. Be it resolved that bylaw 2427, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the March 25th, 2024 council meeting, be presented or read a first, second, third time, finally passed the 25th day of March, 2024. Deputy Mayor, Mr. Broderick, thank you. Any questions? Okay, all in favor? And the bylaw carries. And the motion to adjourn, looking at the clock, it is 6:52. We'll go 6:52 right now. Okay. Be it resolved, council meeting adjourned, 6:52. Deneen, Walker, any questions? All in favor? And the council is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Good luck at the 3-on-3 hockey tournament coming